Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Talking Geeky Stuff with me, Tenshi. So I'm not doing my usual introduction where it says, my name is Tenshi and it's based on the anime character blah de blah. I've done it for the first 3 episodes, so hopefully everyone got it. So, Talking Geeky Stuff, what is the episode today about? Nintendo franchises. If any of you did watch my first video about video games, even though the volume was pretty low, you may have heard that out of all the gaming companies, Nintendo is my overall favorite. I think it's because that's when it was Nintendo that really got me into gaming, so to speak, as understand the characters, got me into the genres, the connection with the franchises and so on. So I kind of have a little soft spot for Nintendo. Not to say that I don't enjoy other companies like Sony or Xbox, PC, and so on. I'm overall, first and foremost, a gamer, so I like a good game, But Nintendo does have a soft spot for me because I kind of grew up with them. So anyway, what is the topic about? Well, what is it? Nintendo franchises. So I've made my videos it's unscripted, so there will be times when I say may get the name wrong, dates wrong, and so on. But that's the whole fun, right? Spontaneous talking. So let's get started. Nice little logo spinning there. So Nintendo. We're going to talk about some of the Nintendo franchises and why I think they are probably the greatest of all the companies. So you can't talk about Nintendo without Mario, right? You think Mario, you think Nintendo, you think Nintendo, you think Mario. Mario kind of encompasses all Nintendo, to be honest. Now they recently, if you look at the last Direct, it wasn't the gaming Direct, it was the Universal Studios Mario World Direct, which I would eventually go to soon once everything settles down, when the borders open and the pandemic is over, everybody's safer and the virus is gone. Hopefully the vaccine will be good. Let's hope, fingers crossed, that'll be ending soon. And not just Mario. I mean, look at Mario there. You've got the 2D Marios from the NES, Super NES. They went to 3D in Nintendo 64, which is still one of the greatest 3D Mario games of all time. Then of course he branched out into like the Super Mario Kart. Then he branched out into Super Smash Brothers, right? I mean, if you look at those three franchises I put on Mario just sells, doesn't matter. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Switch. If anybody just kept track on Nintendo's latest financial year, they were killing it, over 33 million units of Mario Deluxe. That's not even counting the Wii U. Then Super Smash Bros. If you look at the sales for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, almost 22 million. Greatest selling beam of all time. And that's not just and Nintendo has so many great franchises. And here's some of them. I mean, of course, there's many more. I just couldn't squeeze them in there. And with the likes of things like Advance Wars, which I loved on Game Boy, Golden Sun, which I hope they would do. There is also Xenoblade, of course, Xenoblade Chronicles there, many more. I just wanted to add some of these on, because by no means which one is like top 1, 2, 3, or 5. No, of course, my two favorites is Super Mario and The Legend of Zelda. Them two are my favorites. I think they're probably the majority of Nintendo fans' favorite, I would say. Even though I would say the two of my favorite games of all time is Ocarina of Time for Nintendo 64 and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild recently just beat it. So even though those two are my top favorite Nintendo games of all time, but as in saying that, I would say overall I prefer the Mario franchises. And the reason why I say this is because as much as I love Ocarina of Time and Breath of the Wild, they're the two top Nintendo franchises. But as in saying that, when you compare, say, like for like, for example, say Twilight Princess, I loved it, 9 out of 10 for me. I still prefer, say, for example, you look at the next game before that, say, Master and Draw. I loved it, but I prefer Mario 64. Wind Waker, Twilight Princess are great, but I prefer this Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. Look at, say, Skyward Sword. Love that game as well, but I prefer Odyssey. So apart from Ocarina of Time and Breath of the Wild, if you look at like for like, I actually like more Mario games overall than the Zelda games. But as in saying that, the top two are still Zelda games. So overall, I will give just the edge to Mario franchise as my number one. And of course, Legend of Zelda will be number 2. Number 3 will be this. It's tough between the Mario Kart or the Smash Brothers. Them two are really neck and neck. But at the same time, I do like Metroid as well. Speaking about Metroid, I wonder if Metroid Prime will get released today. Today, I'm saying this year. This year. I still think it's probably going to be holiday 2022. If you take into account that they had to redo the production and give it to Retro Studios. So what was that? A year and a half ago, almost 2 years. Takes about a year, 3 years, 3.5 years. So looking like maybe 2022 holiday. That's when I think Metroid Prime 4 will come out. But you know what? This year, I think last year Nintendo was really killed it. Look at the financial report they just came out with. Almost 80 million Switches sold. It's beating the Nintendo 3DS. It's probably beating the Game Boy Advance already. That was the financial report was only to the end of December, so it's on now. We're in February now, right? Easily, I think it's definitely past the Game Boy Advance. It's on course to beat the Wii. I think it will beat it by Christmas. You beat it by Christmas, and then once that's beaten, it's going to have to be the game. What else? What is the DS, isn't it? Nintendo DS. I think that's what 150 million. Could be wrong. So yeah, it's definitely on course to beat the number one home console, and hopefully take on the DS as well. This year it's going to look good. If things go according to plan, they become pretty good games this year. In February we already got Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, which I pre-ordered. That is the first party, and then you got other exclusives like Monster Hunter. You got Bravely Default 2, Pokemon Snap. So that's before May. That's pretty good. So some good games there already. I'm hoping within the first half of the year, I'm hoping Normal Heroes 3 to come out. Really hoping for that to come out. And of course, Bayonetta 3 as well. I know there's a big recent interviews with the director and producer Hideki Kamiya. He's been trolling people. I told everyone to forget about the trailer, so we're not sure about that. But Hideki Kamiya likes to have a little laugh and a little joke around things like that. So he can't really take his words seriously. But as in saying that, this year it could be up for grabs. Seriously, Nintendo can have their greatest year, not just in the Switch life, but their whole of all time. I think that if the stars align, hopefully they release a Switch Pro or some sort of enhanced Switch. And then you got the Zelda 35th anniversary, so you can really capitalize on that. Then hopefully a Breath of the Wild 2. Then I hope they do something with the Metroid Prime or Metroid 35th anniversary, or maybe release the Metroid Prime trilogy, HD trilogy, and maybe the 2D game that's been heavily rumored. So they've got two big franchises, the 35th anniversary as well, and of course not to forget Donkey Kong's 40th anniversary. If you think about it, Donkey Kong is kind of like Nintendo's first mascot, even before Mario. But Mario was called Jumpman back then, right? But of course, in the last few years, Donkey Kong has kind of dropped down from the first tier down to somewhere mid-tier. So I hope they do something with something to do with Donkey Kong. Maybe they probably re-release a few of the old Donkey Kong countries, maybe on eShop or something like that. But I would really love them to do a brand new one. You know what? I really want them to do a remake of Donkey Kong 64. I know there's license issues and so on, but I actually really enjoyed that game. That was actually as close to a good 3D platformer as Mario 64. There's only 2 games back then during the 64 era that platform-wise were kind of up there with Mario 64. Not as good, but almost, was Donkey Kong 64 and Banjo and Kazooie. Them 2 were really close to Mario 64. Because doing platform games is an art form. I think Nintendo has just mastered that. I mean, to this day, there ain't really that many good, really, really good, 3D platformers, or even 2D platformers, to be honest with you, really. So they really have mastered that technique. So I'm hoping this year will definitely be a runaway success for Nintendo. Could easily be the greatest year if they get things right. A new Switch, Zelda 35th, Metroid 35th, right? Maybe even a new Mario game. You've got Bayonetta 3. You've got quite a lot of third-party support as well. Think about that. Then you've got a lot more Smash character announcements as well. Maybe, who knows, they might even have a Mario Kart 9 released this year. But there are some franchises I do kind of want back. Like, I really want a good Star Fox. I really want a good Star Fox, like Star Fox 64, but really good one. And then also F-Zero GX. That was awesome on the GameCube. 60 frames per second was hard. I didn't complete the game, but it was good. I hope can't remember his name, but the person who, the Sega team that time, I think, developed F-Zero GX, had publicly or in interview said he would love to go back and redo that again. So I hope Nintendo's listening and get them to develop a new F-Zero. Definitely want to see an F-Zero on the Star Fox. Definitely that. And a new Advance Wars. I think that will go down well, especially on the DS Lite. I won't say DS Lite, so Switch Lite, because Advance Wars was always on the handheld, right? So I think it blends itself well to the Switch Lite. And then you got Splatoon 3. I think it's time for a new Splatoon. And considering Splatoon 2 has passed 10 million, it's massive in Japan. It's been 3 years since that, so I think it's time for a Splatoon 3, definitely. And then, of course, maybe a remake of Xenoblade Chronicles X. That is heavily rumored. If not, maybe Monolith's new IP they have been kind of teasing. So yeah, there's all speculation really. Also I'm hoping that Nintendo will bring back their directs, because I do miss that a lot. That did really produce a lot of hype. They're fun to watch, and I love watching a lot of people on the internet, YouTube reactions and so on. But the game I'm really looking forward to is the Breath of the Wild 2, or whichever name they end up choosing, because I love the first one. That was such an amazing game. Couldn't get over how good that was. So I'm really looking forward to that, really extending the story, because that is literally a proper sequel. As much as you can say that Muscle Mandrua was a sequel to Ocarina of Time, technically it wasn't. It was sort of, but it wasn't. But this has a lot of lore, and a lot of history to talk about. So I really hope they explore that a lot. So really looking forward to Breath of the Wild 2. Hoping maybe holiday this year. And then as for the special editions, so I want them to release in a package. This is what I think is going to happen. They're going to have Twilight Princess Wind Waker in a HD package. Ocarina of Time and Master Manjura will probably be a eShop. Or really, I really want them to kind of like put those 4 games to one cartridge, and maybe use the DS graphics, the 3DS graphics. So you have like 4 of the best 3D Zelda games, like Ocarina of Time, Master Manjura, Wind Waker, and Twilight Princess in one cartridge. And then I know they heavily rumored about Skyward Sword getting a remake, maybe hopefully getting like updated controls and so on. That'd be great. So it'd be great if you imagine having around March, April, you get the collection of Zelda games I mentioned, and then sometime in summer, autumn, you get the remastered version of Skyward Sword, and then holiday season you get Breath of the Wild 2. That's it. That'll be amazing. And then of course a Metroid as well. Metroid Prime Trilogy HD, the 2D Metroid. I know I really wanted them. I know this is not that popular, but I actually pretty enjoyed Metroid Another M for the Wii. I didn't mind it. The control could have been a lot better, so they could easily remake that, change up the controls, made it better, make it tighter. I think the game had some really good mechanics, good structure. I liked the game. I mean, it wasn't it wasn't amazing, but I thought it was pretty good. So they remake that, added new controls. I think they could do that. So you can imagine having Metroid Prime HD Trilogy, the 2D Metroid Another M remastered. That'd be like 4 games for Metroid Prime or Metroid 35th anniversary. That'd be awesome. And I think Nintendo will sell bucket loads of those 2 franchises, Zelda and the Metroid. In between that, can you imagine you have Bayonetta? You got maybe a Pokemon game as well in autumn. And then, what else? And then, I really don't know. Of course, you got No More Heroes 3 in there. And then, of course, Nintendo always surprises us with a game that we never thought about. So, yeah. And that is why I think Nintendo games stand the test of time. Because I've been banging on about how good they are. I mean, I can go back and play Link to the Past, Super Mario World on the Super Nintendo, right? And they are still amazing games. I can play Super Metroid as well. Still one of the best sideward scrolling actions out there. Yeah, I mean, I can still play Mario 64. Yeah, graphics a bit blocky now, but the gameplay is still amazing. There's still some camera issues, but still an amazing game. So that's why I can always go back to a Nintendo game 10, 20, 30 years behind. I mean, you can still play Super Mario World 3 on the original Super Nintendo. That is still considered one of the greatest platform games of all time, and it still is. And, I played Ocarina of Time again on the 3DS, still amazing game. So yes, I think that's why they're always evergreen, they always sell, and that's why they're so beloved. And that's why I think Nintendo will always will never go the way of Sega, because their games are so beloved that their own franchise games will help Nintendo stay afloat. It always still makes money. So no matter what, their franchise is practically money, if you know what I mean. So anyway, thank you for listening to me, and let me know which is your favorite Nintendo franchise and what game you're looking forward to in 2021. Well, thank you, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening wherever you are in the world. And please stay safe. Goodbye.